Wow.
Wi-Fi might be a little shoddy today. I'm excited to see how this is going to work. But we've got George here. We have Ghost here. How are we doing, fellas?
It's not good. It's not good at all. Everyone's sitting. No lineups of mine work. This is going to be the next 45 minutes to an hour of pure chaos. This is all this is going to be.
I know. How about you, Ghost?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Oh, there goes Mike. That was like a behind the scenes of Mike without all the makeup and the bells and whistles and the lights. You know, you get the man on the street version of Mike.
Yeah, he was telling me just before we started, he was like, I think my Wi-Fi might be a little choppy, just as a little heads up. And I was like, okay, yeah, no worries. I'm sure it'll be fine. And he's back. He's back.
So that wasn't even my Wi-Fi. I can't even blame that. I'm on my wife's laptop because clearly I'm not in the in my normal home. And I just am not used to being on the laptop without a mouse. And I just accidentally hit the back button and we bounced. So I don't even have a good excuse for that. All right. This is the last one of the regular season, which is crazy because it seems like this should be like a momentous evening, right? Like this is it. We got one more in us. And the NBA, in true NBA fashion, has everybody and their mother sitting. I think before I go through the laundry list of injury news, I'm going to let you guys know we still will do a rare tier giveaway. So like the stream, subscribe, and then you can put hashtag chaos into the chat. I'll share that here right now. But the thing I wanted to do first, before we get into all this weirdness, right? I would love to know, like, we know we got Luka, right? Well, Luka's probable. We're assuming we have Luka. Outside of that, it's just like a lot of value, guys. But are there teams that you are relying on a little bit more for like starters outside of Luka?
So, I mean, I still like some of the teams that we've already kind of seen what they do when they aren't playing any of their starters. Like I'm still gravitating towards the Charlotte guys where we've kind of had a couple test run weeks of what they've been doing. You've got Mark Williams back there who should be in the mix. And then there's a couple of teams that are still playing for something, I guess. You've got like the Pelicans who have Brandon Ingram, who will probably still be playing. I think that they're still fighting for some sort of spot. The Lakers are still trying to fight for a spot there. So I've been trying to target those teams that either have something to play for or we know kind of what their rotation might look like because there's a lot of uncertainty with the other teams.
I wanted to throw one more out there too. So the Warriors play the Kings tonight, and if the Warriors win, they basically lock up a 6 seed because the Clippers aren't losing to the Blazers. There's no world in which that's happening. Portland is running the three of us out there, and they're starting 5 this week. So, like, if the Warriors get the W against Sacramento, they will then play Sacramento in the playoffs, which is what everybody's looking for. So I kind of think the Warriors, I don't know if they're safe for 2 games, but I do think they're going to try to win tonight because that Sacramento one's pretty important. But real quick, why don't I just kind of do a quick rundown of all of the chaos for tonight? So we've got Luka is probable. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are both listed as questionable. They have to win. I don't think they want to play in the play-in game. So I think they're going to try to win this game. I'd be surprised if they don't play. Devin Book, the whole Suns team is out. Devin Booker's out. KD's out. Devin Booker, KD, and Ayton, Chris Paul are all out. Kyrie is out, which I don't know what the fuck Dallas is doing. I do not understand what's going on. Why would Luka play if Kyrie's not going to play? I don't understand what we're doing. James Harden is out. Jaylen Brown is out. Jimmy Butler is out. Bam Adebayo is out. De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are questionable. So if you wanted to make the case that maybe the Warriors aren't as safe, if the Kings sit all their guys, the Warriors might feel like they can beat them without playing everybody 40 minutes. I don't know. DeRozan is out. Levine is out. Paolo is out. Hero is out. Oh, I'm sorry. Paolo is questionable. Hero is out. Tobias Harris is questionable. There's no way he plays, in my opinion. Wendell Carter Jr. is out. Markelle Fultz is questionable. Tyrese Maxey is out. D'Angelo Russell is probable. Miles Turner is questionable. RJ Barrett is questionable. And then we had a couple of other things come in. I know DeAndre Hunter moved to questionable. We had Max Strus is going to play. Kevin Love is out. Turner is out. I don't know if I said Turner was out. McConnell is out as well. Jalen Smith is out. And Hunter is a game-time decision. So, this is nuts. I don't even know, I don't even know where we want to start after hearing all of that. I know, Ghost, you mentioned here is target some of the same teams that we already have like a familiarity with at this point because they've been trying to lose for a couple of weeks. But I don't know. It's just chaos. I was building some of my lineups together that are actually coming in nicely because you've got these guys with caps of 7 and 8 that are very good plays this week.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to always want to spend all of your points or get as close to that as possible. And I feel like this week I was coming in with 20 points left over in some of my lineups, and it's kind of probably going to be okay this week because there's so many value picks that are going to be more important than your higher tier guys. There's really not that many high cap guys that are relevant in the slate.
Well, and one more thing too that I was saying to George before we actually went live. I actually think a lot of times, right, especially if I'm playing in the rares where I don't have a great MVP, that you might be able to put together a solid champion lineup because really the only MVPs that we're seeing out there are Luka, I guess Anthony Edwards if he goes, the Lakers guys, but there's not really the top tier studs that we're used to. And so many people are probably going to roll out a Sabonis or a Fox as their champ, and then they get ruled out too. So I think I'm still focusing for my rare lineups on the contender because I don't have a big bag. But I was thinking, man, because currently, just to tell you what I'm rolling with for my contender, and I'll explain why I was thinking about putting in the champion. I have Rudy Gobert and Jalen Williams in the same lineup. So Rudy, Jalen Williams, Kendrick Nunn, Jalen McDaniels, and Eubanks. And I was that honestly might be the highest scoring in a champion, based on who's playing. So did this adjust for either of you, what contest you were focusing on tonight?
Essentially, I went on. So at the start of every week, I don't know if I'm weird, but at the start of every week, as soon as it hits the refresh and it goes into the new game week, I'll just randomly build and throw together my lineups, and then I'll play about them throughout the week. And I logged on just before 20 minutes before we sat down, and I was well, delete that lineup, and I had to scrap everything. So I am doing this mono, this is going to be completely live, me rebuilding everything. So yeah, that sums up my situation pretty well.
That's great. What about you, Ghost?
I feel like there was just so much value on the board that I didn't really have too many problems putting together a lineup, where usually I think that a lot of my builds between contender or champion would be based on who I felt like I could fit in certain places, or if I felt like there was someone that a star that I could fit into contender that I felt like would give me a huge advantage. I didn't really see that here today. So I feel like I focused less on the tournament than usual with this one.
Yeah, just kind of fired it. It was kind of cool too. I won for my, and then I promise we'll get into some projections. But for this week, I forget what my tier 5. Oh, I got a Max Strus from the Heat, and then I got Io DeSumo, who as a tier 4, and Io ends up being a fantastic play now. So it's funny that some of our rewards that you think are probably dog crap are actually great plays this week, which is again just speaks to how insane this slate is. But why don't we get started here? I'm not in my home setup, so I apologize if it's not as zoomed in as it typically is, but I can't believe we're doing the show, period. So let's start down here towards the bottom, and you're going to see just this shit's lit up green, baby. There's green everywhere. Why don't we just kind of go around the horn? I don't think we should list every one of them because look at this. This is insane. Somebody named Jared Roden. Okay. I'm sorry. Who? Why don't we just kind of hit some of our favorite plays in that low end, anywhere from like -5 to 10. And Ghost, why don't you kick us off?
So I was trying to project who I felt like was going to play for the Bucks, and I mean they have 4 of their 5 starters out. So I think someone like Thanasis Antetokounmpo, Giannis's brother, might get some run here. So he was a little bit interesting to me, and then farther up, Javon Carter was one that was really interesting to me. And then Marjan Beauchamp. He's at 4 cap there. I think that he's going to get a lot of run. We've seen him as a youngster get a ton of run earlier in the season when there were some injuries, and he played really well. So that was one of my favorites there.
I like Beauchamp quite a bit. That's a fun one. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I saw what's his name? Korkmaz projecting really well too, which I was surprised about. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that. I'm not sure how the Philly lineup's going to shake out totally there.
You know what? I was just telling you that I was playing Jalen McDaniels, and I'm still kind of nervous about that. Even though like he's not one of their core rotational guys, because their G League team wrapped up last night. I don't know. Maybe we could see like Mac McClung sighting. So who knows? Who knows what we're getting? What about George? What about you? What down there? How are you feeling?
Yeah, Korkmaz is the top one for an L10 of 3. He just looks like if you've got one of him, he's like a no-brainer. I wouldn't buy him if you don't. Same with like Georges Niang, but I think he's in the top side of it. There's some other sort of value plays potentially with the Heat with Duncan Robinson this week because a lot of their guys are missing. He can catch heat at any point with Duncan Robinson, but this is such a random week. There's going to be tier 5s that come out of absolutely nowhere that will just spark off and get like a 30, 40 point score on an L10 of like 5. So it could genuinely be, you can go on Sorare Data or any of these projection ones, click filter, and you could just throw a dart at it and what one will pick. That's how I feel this week is going to go for at the moment.
Yeah, it's a little out of control here. I just pointing out Damian Jones is projecting well again because we know Markkanen's not playing. Like everybody, dude. Everybody has these massive projections here. There was another one, 7, Peyton Watson, who we saw Peyton Watson play a little bit in that Warriors game that Denver played when they were missing some starters, and he had some serious bounce to him, play some defense as well. I wanted to ask Ghost, which I know this is jumping around a little bit, but because our value du jour of the last like couple of weeks, which I guess wouldn't be du jour, it'd be value du week or whatever the fuck. But Portland was a team that we would just talk about every week, and then we said this, like eventually their caps are going to rise, and then it's like at what point do they stop becoming great plays? And we saw Portland decided that Shaedon Sharpe was too good, so we weren't going to play him anymore. What are you doing with some of the, like, I know we've got the Skylar Mays of the world who's popped off recently. What are you doing with someone like Eubanks?
I have Eubanks in a couple of my lineups. I'm a little nervous, like you said, and I feel like this is probably the most important slate out. I need to be like really looking at the underdog like lineups as they come out because there's really just still a ton of uncertainty about which players are even playing for what teams. I mean, we're projecting some of these lower tier guys to play, but we don't really know how the rotations are going to shake out. But the starting 5 will give us a really good indicator of what reserve type guys are actually going to get the minutes there. So like Portland's been one, especially with them resting Shaedon Sharpe the other day, that I've been kind of a little weary of. Even though I have been trying to I really like the Charlotte, like I said, because we know their roster and it seems like they're pretty much going with the same crew that they've been going with. But for Portland, I don't feel as comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous with the Portland situation. I think I'm still going to roll out Eubanks, but one thing like we talked about this too. You're so focused on making sure you're filling your cap, right? And I guess like in a vacuum. And again, now this is me talking about my lineups, but I do think it's like good for the process of the conversation. Like if TJ McConnell's ruled out, Halliburton's not playing, the Pacers aren't really trying. Even though the cap is like 4 or 5, it actually might be 6 less. Would you roll out Benedict Mathurin over somebody like Eubanks?
I think I would. I mean, I think we know that Indiana has nothing to play for. They've got a rookie in Mathurin that has been playing well, and I don't think that they have any reason to like sit him. So I think that he's going to get big minutes, and even like Andrew Nembhard too, I think is an interesting play. there's just a lot of people missing for Indiana. I think with Miles Turner and now Jalen Smith out as well. I think you look at like someone like Isaiah Jackson or some of those reserve bigs there.
We hit that back button, baby.
There you
go. All right. Sorry. Now I got to reshare the screen again, too. Thank you guys for just rolling with it tonight. All right. Why don't we look into some of the mid-range plays, right? Like this, I don't know, anywhere from like 15 to 30, like some of the guys that have been popping out for you. Again, I'm probably not going to do this game week, this live before lock show. It'll probably look a little bit different than what we normally do because there's just so much freaking green. So we can't really hit them all. And also, too, just a reminder, if you're just getting here, like the stream, subscribe, put hashtag chaos. We're going to give away a rare tier card that is probably a dog crap player who is going to be in the winning lineups this week. But yeah, George, why don't you go first this time? Anybody in that like 15 to 30? Of course, there are people in 15 to 30, but who are the ones that stick out to you?
Well, I mean, from going from 0 to 10 to 15 to 30, we have skipped out my favorite play of the week.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It will be Bobo.
All right. Let me see if I can get the video. It's always
if you can't get the video, you can't get the video.
Oh, Bobo. No, come on. We're doing it.
Bobo.
Bobo.
His first name is Bull and his last name is Bull.
No, yeah. Long legs.
Oh my God. I bet his legs are taller than my whole body. I'm leaving you for Bobo. Like.
So yeah, it's glad that even in Mike's hostage situation, of which I saw a comment from a moment ago, we can still get the Bol drop going. But yeah, I don't think he's going to set the world on fire. But yeah, he's a pick for me. Paul Reed, if Joel Embiid's sitting out at 17, I think he's a good pick. Paul Reed's come in before when Embiid's sat and has done well in terms of the point scoring side of things. So and then there's a few of the other Sixer guys, Obi Toppin as well. Shake Milton, he's probably going to get an extended run in that point guard role with Maxey, with Harden out, maybe DeAnthony Melton as well. So yeah, there's a few guys in and around that area that I like at that figure.
Yeah. What about you, Ghost? Who's popping for you?
I do want to say that I saw Bobo popping and I thought immediately of George. So you're now associated. I see Jamie Howard's comment in the chat too that she thought of you as well. So a couple of people that I really like. I mentioned that I had been targeting Charlotte. I think Washington is also in a similar situation where we've seen what their rotation looks like. They've been sitting Kuzma and Beal for a long time now. We've got Porzingis out, a couple other people out. So Johnny Davis, I think, is a smash play again at 14. Kendrick Nunn is probably the best play on this slate. We've already seen him just go absolutely crazy the last couple of games there. He's at 9. And then I still like Jordan Goodwin a lot at 17 as well. And then you've got Gafford just going wild at 21. I think all those Washington guys are just going to put up big numbers there, even if they're not necessarily playing for anything.
Yeah, that was a good Gafford. What we learned this past game week is that we can keep playing Gafford, because I was nervous he was going to be like the next one that they're like, you know what, we're good. We're trying to lose games. We don't have to roll them all out. But yeah, I like the Gafford call as well. I'm going to scroll through just a couple of more too, just see like the Suns situation is bad, right? Well, not bad. I mean, I guess it's good if you got them, but the guys like Cam Payne and Jock Landale, probably a Kogi, those types of dudes will pop a little bit. Miami, I don't really know what to do with. I guess like Gabe Vincent. We talked about Duncan Robinson, but Gabe Vincent's someone who normally starts for them. And if they are just kind of gearing up for the playoffs, I would be nervous that he gets an extended run. And then Benedict Mathurin. Yeah. All right. I answered my own question. Benedict Mathurin with a cap of 20 and a projection of 34. I should just be playing him in my squad. All right. Let's get into some.
I was going to say I could call out some Bulls guys too in this range. This is one of the first times all season, I think, that we're going to see all three of the big three of Chicago, if you want to call them a big three sit. So guys like Dalen Terry, I think Andre Drummond is probably going to get a ton of run today. So I think he's really interesting there. He's somewhere in the teens. And then guys like Derek Jones Jr., I think those are going to be the guys that we're going to see like 30 minutes out of tonight. And Ayo Dosunmu, like you said. So I think the Bulls are going to have some nice value plays there.
Yeah. Stan, Miami resident in the chat. Oh, he's not resident, but resident fan, saying Miami Max is the play. So Max Strus. But yeah, he'll probably get out there and chuck a lot. All right. What about anybody else in this? I know we covered a lot of the dudes in the lower end. Anybody, I guess we can just extend it like 30 to, I don't know, I guess 30 to 40, and then we can just do our favorite MVPs and get out of here. Holy crap, Bobby Portis is projecting really well. Almost double his cap. Although I'd be curious how much they run him out there. But anyways, yeah. Anybody in that like 25 to 40 range?
Yeah, I agree with that Bobby Portis comment. Like, if I was one of these teams that had like I was the number one seed, like Bobby Portis is a huge part of that team, so I wouldn't want to be rolling him out in this meaningless game.
Yeah.
Similar, even
Oh,
with even
actually,
Javon Carter.
yeah, exactly. That's all the Javon Carter. Yeah, that's a great call. Wait, hold on, real quick. Malcolm Brogdon officially ruled out. Derek White officially ruled in. Marcus Smart officially ruled out. So they are going to be short on guards. And I imagine did we get any Tatum or Brown news? I can't remember if they were questionable or already ruled out.
I think Brown was officially ruled out earlier.
Yeah,
I don't
Jaylen
think
Brown.
you've seen
I think
anything
is
on
definitely
Tatum.
out.
Derek White ends up being a smash. As long as they let him go, but maybe it's Peyton Pritchard season. But all right, yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into a little bit higher of the mid range. How are we feeling?
I like Isaiah quickly a lot again. With
Yeah.
all of the people out, or Julius Randle out, I think Brunson's still sitting today, and Quickly's been crushing it. And I don't see any reason why they would sit him or anything. So I could see him going off again.
Yeah. What about you, George? Anybody?
I really like it. I do think he's going to play regardless. I know it's on the higher end of that 40 scale, but I think LeBron this week, if you've got him, is sort of the no-brainer pick alongside like a Luka at the moment. When they've got stuff to play for, LeBron loves the game against the Jazz anyway, but I think as an MVP, and you could even probably get him in as a second-tier guy because of how many low options are available this week. I think LeBron is a top-tier option for this game week.
Yeah, he projects really well. I mean, all those guys. I would say John Morant seems like he's projecting really well here because he's off the injury report. I don't think he's going to play both games.
I think he might get like 20 minutes. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a case like that because I know like the Suns they were flirting with saying that how they might play like a half and then just completely rest them. And I think we might see that with some of the sort of stars that are still playing this week. So
yeah, the Jokic.
it's going to be a very
right?
strange week. It's going to be a strange old week is what it's going to be.
Yeah, I think if you are looking, I mean, if you have the options, right? If you don't have the options, like whatever, you just take your best shot at who you got and you hope they play a full game. But of those high end guys, right? Like we talked about Luka, LeBron, and AD. You just want teams that are trying their hardest right now. Like they need to win these games. I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is one of those. The Minnesota guys. Like, is there anybody else? Because I don't think we need to do our favorite MVP because I think we're all looking at like the same dudes at this point. Like Tatum's playing tonight, right? And I don't know. I would imagine he's like one of the first ones that they are like, okay, we call the dogs off. We're good now, So anybody of the other like main MVP type candidates that we should give a shout?
Not really super high, other than the like Luka, who I think is like gonna just go scorched earth just to prove a point. I think so. He's probably my favorite play of the slate. I like Ingram, like I said. The Toronto guys are kind of interesting. I think that they're still kind of shuffling around for certain positions there, so I think they might play their guys in at least one of the games.
Man, sorry, I didn't even think about this. Shout out Guyton in the chat. If Dallas loses tonight, like OKC can just shut it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and but Dallas is playing Chicago. Chicago doesn't have any reason to win, right?
I think Chicago.
Those are the type of games that we will win.
Yeah. They're all those. Is Vucevic playing? I didn't see anything about him being out. Was the only thing I saw. All the other guys. I didn't see anything about Vuce.
I didn't see anything about Vuce either yet. Actually,
they ruled out DeRozan, Levine, Patrick Beverly. I think. I don't think that they ruled out Vucevic, but I doubt that he plays full minutes.
Yeah. I bet. I don't know. You still got Luka. Like if Luka's playing, man, I don't know. I'm torn. People, so there's going to be a lot of questions of will so-and-so play. Like I'm seeing Red Wolf in here. We were just talking about Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is supposed to play. I just think in a lot of these scenarios, he might not play his normal minutes, right? And I guess like the one thing we can say though, like would you rather have 20 productive minutes of Bobby Portis with no Giannis, no Holiday, all those guys out? Or would you rather have 35 minutes of like Kevin Knox?
Yeah, it's a good... I mean, especially with teams that have two games, like I think I'd rather have two games of like one of those more of a lottery ticket type guy that's a 10 to 15 that might get extended minutes instead of one or a half game of Bobby Portis, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie was saying in the chat, I saw something about Vucci Mane playing, so he plays all 82. Iron Man?
I did see that also. He's played all 80 games so far, I think. So someone on my timeline was speculating that they might just bring him in quickly so he can get like a couple minutes there and then not play him for the rest of the game.
Who was that did the was it Draymond Green where he literally started the game for the tip? Yeah, was it that or Clay did it and he just came in, tipped it off, and then everyone's bets that had the under all cashed? I remember that last year.
Yeah, he did.
Very similar.
It was Klay Thompson's first game back.
That was it, yeah.
All right, so we got an update that AJ saying Tobias was ruled out. Let me see. I haven't seen that come through yet. There it is. So Melton's out and Tobias is out. All right, we can start getting into questions. I'm gonna be honest though, guys. Like for the chat, a lot of this is just to choose your own adventure with your own risk. So we're not gonna have normally we can look at projections and make a call. These projections are like. And this isn't a shot at Momentum Labs or So Rare Data, whatever you use. It's just you're just lobbing grenades here. So we can start getting into it. And just a reminder too, like the stream, subscribe, but hashtag chaos into the chat. We got 80 entrants already. I also want to point out too, I can't pull it up right now, but if you check out our Twitter account, we're doing a pretty massive giveaway this coming Monday. And it's just all you got to do is like the thing, retweet the thing. Make sure you subscribe to us and then give us a little podcast review. But we're giving away Rudy Gobert rare, Tyrese Maxey rare, Wiggins limited, and Sabonis limited. So 4 different winners in there. So,
that's a big old giveaway, that one. That's a
big old giveaway. The prices went down in the market, which helped. And then we raised a bunch of money, so it feels like it's the right thing to do. You know what? Kim brings up a great question. Kim Robin, will the Nets go full strength? So initially, I was like, yeah, they will. But now Miami's basically like, nah, we're good tonight. And once that's taken care of, I don't know if Bridges needs to play the full allotment. So I don't know. All right, I'll get into some of these questions here. Norman Powell or Russell Westbrook? I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Either one of you can take a shot at that.
That's got to be. I still think the Clippers have got stuff to play for, so I'm going to say Westbrook on that manner. But again, I know you just said it earlier. It's hard, so many of these questions this week, apart from the really random guys, are going to be, you might as well just flip your coin as well. We can say whatever we want here, and you can come back and laugh at us, but that's pretty much it.
Maybe it's helpful to do this, right? So in the Eastern Conference, 1 through 10 is pretty much set if Miami decides to lose this game. So, the Celtics don't have anything. The Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Cavs, and Knicks are all pretty much set 1 through 5. The Nets probably want to secure this, so that would be 6. Maybe you can count on the Nets a little bit. Outside of that, no one in the East needs to win any of these games. On the West, the Mavericks technically do. So the Mavericks should be trying. The Thunder should be trying. And then you get the Wolves. Somebody we haven't talked about at all who might actually be the MVP play of this weekend is Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans are going to have the Pelicans want to win this game. They're going against a Knicks team that's not going to be trying super hard. We've seen the Knicks, their last game against the Pacers, it was 148, 139 or something wild like that. So the Pels are going to be trying. Clippers, Lakers, Warriors. And then that's it. So, I mean, it's crazy.
I just saw you get the this is when you know that the value plays are the meta play this week, when Underdog tweets nothing else but Sixers players available, and then you have just 10 guys, 3 of them that you haven't heard of in about 15 weeks, and they're making the cut for this. So it's one of these weeks where you're going to see multiple Underdog tweets from that sort of ilk.
Jamie says Ingram's cap feels so high. I know he's been on a heater. Ghost, do you have any on my diatribe there about Brandon Ingram? Do you agree with that maybe his cap is too high, or is it just a star that we can count on this weekend?
I think that there's so few people that have high caps that are actually still playing for something that I think that it doesn't really matter that his cap is a little bit elevated. I'm getting him into some of my lineups where I have him, because I think that he's one of the few stars there alongside Anthony Davis, maybe Luka, that you can kind of trust to still play a full allotment of minutes.
And honestly, if you're using all of your cap, you're probably making a bad lineup. I feel like we probably should be. There's going to be room left over, I think, with so many of these value plays of a guy that has a cap of 6 and a projection of 30 or whatever it is. So, all right. Zeely's got a question. He's saying rank them: Jalen Suggs, Mark Williams, James Wiseman, Eubanks, and Kispert. And I can just say right off the bat, even though he's been my favorite guy to talk about, Wiseman, we can just cross off the list, I think, because I think everyone else projects better than him. I'll let you both take a shot at it. Instead of ranking them, just give me your favorite one. Ghost, why don't you go first?
Can you pull that up on the screen?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It is Suggs, Mark Williams, Wiseman, Eubanks, and Kispert.
I think I would rank this Mark Williams, Eubanks, Suggs, Kispert, Wiseman.
All right, I like that. What about you? You feel similarly, George?
Yeah, I think I'd probably favor Suggs primarily just because I saw how outrageous the projections were for the Magic. So I'd probably go for
Well,
Suggs.
and if we get word too that Paolo or Franz ends up sitting, they're questionable right now. I mean, he's.
I think they're all out. I saw Cole on Sorare data earlier. Cole Anthony. I had to triple check that it wasn't a glitch. He had like a projection of 68 for Cole Anthony, and I was like, "What are we doing this week? Like, what is happening?"
We also got word too that DeAndre Hunter remains a game time decision. All right, we got this question here: should I play Zubac or Tyus Jones?
I think the Clippers are tough right now. I feel like we haven't gotten a ton of news about what they're doing yet. And I actually was going to think about playing Tyus, given what we've heard with like the Grizzlies potentially having not much left to play for, and at least one of those two games are probably not having Ja play. So I think Tyus might be a sneaky good play.
Yeah, I think I would lean Tyus too, because if you get it wrong with Tyus, you still have a pretty good floor. But if you get it right with Tyus, you have a really high ceiling. And Zubac, I mean, like every fifth game he goes for like 20 and 15, but then he gets a bunch of 8 and 8s in between there. So I do think that's hard to peg. Common Man saying Jaden Hardy, get ready. 30 minutes of Jaden Hardy tonight.
I've got a question that I need some help with as well.
All right.
I was just I'm just like trying to piece together a somewhat decent rare contender lineup. And I've got Bol, Javon Carter, Caleb Martin, all should see minutes. I've got an Anthony Edwards as like the big guy. And then I can decide between a Gary Trent Jr. and TST isn't here to tell me if he's going to play or not, which is the annoying thing. And then Trendon Watford or RJ Barrett. And all of them are just very mid to me, but they all fit in that area. So what would you guys suggest for that one is what I'd like to know.
I'm just nervous RJ doesn't play. I know
That's
he's questionable and they don't have anything to play for. And Watford straight up might be too good for the play. Like I really don't know what Portland's gonna do. I don't know. What do you think, Ghost?
I have the same thoughts. You pretty much just hit it on the head there.
It's just so hard this week for stuff like this. It's ridiculous.
It really is. This is wild. I'm realizing too. Like, man, yeah. Anyways, I feel like I have to redo all my lineups, but I don't. I should probably just leave it alone. All right, I'm trying to see if I can get some more. Ooh, Ransom Reed saying I hate myself, but I just bought LeBron and Ingram. There we go. Then you know what though, Ransom Reed. Hopefully they both play in the playoffs. You know. All right, Alex was saying in tip-off, he's got Bam limited, and do you play him and hope he plays the second game? Cat common or Derek White common? I don't think Bam's playing this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not playing this first game, yeah, and they did. Underdog tweeted earlier that Cat is playing both games of the back-to-back.
Yeah, they then tweeted out like 10 minutes later that he's still considered questionable, but that they think he's going to play it. So, yeah, I think I'd roll with Cat there. They need to win. Those guys need to win. Joe's saying Javon Carter, who we talked a little bit about, or Obi Toppin. Both of them should be running into a lot of minutes tonight. I'm going to make Ghost, you take this one too, just because you were a Javon Carter head.
Yeah, you kind of talked me off of it a little bit because I do think that Javon Carter is super important to the Bucks for like their success. So like if I was them, I wouldn't want to play him too many minutes. And Toppin has been out of the rotation until recently, pretty much the whole year, and the Knicks don't really care about him as much. And he's been playing pretty well. So I think I would lean Toppin there, even though I like Javon Carter better. I'm just more uncertain about what his minutes are going to look like.
Yeah, I feel similarly. I'm thinking more about that Bucks situation. And I wonder too, like, again, I was going to say Beauchamp. That makes me more excited about Beauchamp, I think, even though that's not the same position. I just feel like Beauchamp's going to get a lot of the offensive responsibilities tonight. And I haven't been paying attention to the market, clearly, because it looks like I'm in a room where I'm being held hostage. Have the values not been like the value plays normally in a situation like this would moon? But because there are so many of them, are prices staying pretty stagnant?
I don't know. I haven't been looking too much at the market either.
Yeah.
I looked at some of not like a Korkmaz who is literally only valuable for this game week and then nothing for about 9 months. But I think you'll still see some, if they've got some utility in question. There was a little bit of a spike still for some of them, but I don't think it's that mad because again, this week it's just like my limited under 23 lineup is cooked now, and I'm not going to go out and buy 3 guys for it. Is the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the boot champ graph pulled up on server data right now, and it's still popped like a ton of buys that shot right up. So I still do think
Good.
that there are a lot of people speculating.
I
Is
tried to
Bol
sell
Bol
my
mooning?
Kendrick. What'd you say?
Can I sell my Bol Bol? Is Bol Bol mooning? That's what I want to know. Can I cash back
Ew.
into my Bol Bol? That's what I need to know.
I tried to sell my Kendrick Nunn. I was like, of course Kendrick Nunn is going to pop, and then he didn't. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm trying to stay on. Again, my computer's a little bit slow. Oh, Ingram or Steph? Alex is asking Brandon Ingram or Steph Curry. So we know we're thinking we get Steph's for at least one game tonight. But I feel like both of us are, or I mean, all three of us are going to say Brandon Ingram. Is anyone taking Steph? Am I wrong there?
No, I'm going blind.
No,
Brandon Ingram. And
I'm going
to answer
definitely.
your question, George, Bol Bol went from basically free, and now he's going for 0.004 ETH. So moved up a little bit. That's like from $0 to $5. So if you want to cash out,
that counts. Siakam or Bridges? That one's tough, Kudu, because again, I just don't know how Toronto's going to handle it. I guess Toronto. No, they can't. I don't think they can catch Atlanta, right? So Toronto's like locked into that 9 spot.
I don't know. On some of the DFS articles that I was reading earlier today, they were saying that Siakam was a great play and that it sounded like they were going to play their squad. I'm not sure what they're really jockeying for.
I think they're one game behind Atlanta, so I think they can, but it all obviously then depends on how it goes from. Whereas with the Nets, I still think with Bridges, there's this whole media spin at the moment of how he's played 433,000 games in a row and hasn't missed them. So I would be quite surprised if he doesn't play in these games. But I think Siakam is a better pick than Bridges this week. Yeah.
There you go. There you have it.
So Toronto is locked into the 9 seed with a loss or an Atlanta win tonight.
All right.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Siakam it is. Let's Siakam roll. Am I spelling? How do you spell McClung? What's going on here? What am I doing wrong? Is he not on here? No, he's not. All right. So Mac McClung is not projecting on Momentum Labs. Somebody had asked if he was going to play. I thought Mac McClung might see the floor. All right. Here we go. Mun Bjark is saying rank these. We got Mark Williams. We've got Shui and Bobby Portis. I don't know. George, you want to take a crack at this one?
Yeah, I'd still hang my hat on Bobby Portis this week. I know there's the chance that because he's a big part of what the Bucks do, that he doesn't see good minutes, but you can flip it where they want him to get that 6th man of the year. And if he has like a 30-point night tonight on a double-double, they'll really push the 6th man of the year vote down your throat on Twitter afterwards. So I could see that, but I'd go Bobby Portis, Mark Williams, then.
Dude, I love the 6th man of the year narrative because I was applying that to Emmanuel quickly. I was like, oh, maybe they don't play quickly. And I was like, nah, they want him to get 6th man of the year. Yeah. But Bobby Portis is straight up doing interviews with people about getting the 6th man. So I'm here for it. All right, this one's for you, Ghost. We got which 2 of these 3, Şengün, Tyus, or Derek White?
So it's funny because Houston is bad enough that they're still playing all of their main guys and it doesn't really matter. So like, I don't think that the rotation's changing that much from what they've already been rolling out. So I actually am playing Şengün in one of my lineups and am feeling pretty comfortable about it. So I think I would rank that Şengün, Derek White, and then Tyus.
I think Derek White, though, also is considered like one of the Celtics guys with similar concerns. Underdog tweeted up Peyton Pritchard is back or available, and that made me think like, oh, yeah, why would they – if they're resting dudes, why are you going to play Derek White 35 minutes, you know?
Yeah, you're right. All right, flip that to Tyus. We'll hope that Tyus starts one of those games, but he's important too. I mean, I don't know. I still know what these teams' motivations would be to play some of these guys that are like maybe the 6th or 7th man that are still very important to your team. Like just because they're not a starter, like you need those guys in the playoffs. So I'd be sitting them if it was me.
All right, we've got Reese is asked here, Javon Carter, Gabe Vincent, Joe Ingles, Jordan Goodwin, Andre Drummond, pick 1. Let's both of you guys can do this one. But George, you go first. Who you got out of that crew there?
I'm running Javon Carter this week. He's going to be in my contender lineup, so I'll go for him. But I do like Gabe Vincent as well as a pick from it. I think Drummond will see the floor, but there's my 2. I could say stuff about everyone there, but that's the big cop out. But yeah,
it's a good list to pick from. What about you, Ghost?
I'm going Jordan Goodwin.
Riding with Goodwin. All right, I like it. We got Kai Jones, Terrence Ross, Champagne, or Goodwin. I forgot about Terrence Ross. He should take like 4,000 shots tonight, right?
I saw like an underdog because you know, like every now and then you get those really passive aggressive underdog posts from them, and it was like Terrence Ross finally makes a basket, and I was like, damn, there's some passive energy in that one from the other night.
Oh, I don't know. What do you got? What do you guys think from that group? Kai Jones, Terrence Ross, Champagne, or Goodwin? Do you just ride with?
It's Goodwin in that one.
So I'm assuming that's the one, the Champagne that's on the Spurs, right? Because there's one on Boston too, and they have similar names, and I always get them confused.
I think it's the Spurs. I think that one's the Spurs.
Because that one, the Julian on the Spurs has been balling lately, and they obviously have nothing to play for. So I'm looking at his chart right now. He's had a couple 30, 35, 38 games over the last 4, and has been getting pretty good minutes. So I like him.
Yeah.
I still think I would take Jordan Goodwin there, but I do like him.
Somebody's asking about D'Angelo Russell. I actually hadn't seen anything about him. I assume he'll be good to go. He might still be listed as questionable here. I'm trying to scroll quickly to see if I can find something. I don't know if you guys have seen anything. Let's see. They got LeBron listed as questionable. No, it looks like he's good to go. Looks like D'Lo should be good to go. So there you go. What do you think about Fred Van Fleet, says Bernard? Yeah, I guess we should have talked about Toronto a little bit more up top. But if they still have an outside shot at moving into the 8 seed, I imagine like Freddie, Siakam, to a lesser extent, OG and Barnes are probably all solid plays. And then Josh, to be a real jerk about our Jordan Goodwin takes, is rumor we get DeLon Wright back. Does that mess things up a little bit?
I'm surprised that they would bring him back after he's missed a couple of games in a row. I just figured that he'd be out for the season like everyone else.
That's what I thought too. That makes me nervous about Kendrick Nunn too, honestly.
Are we sure? I'm going to look at DeLon right now. Yeah,
I don't think we're getting that 62-point Kendrick Nunn game again. Unfortunately, I think that ship has sailed. But
all right, who do you play?
We can remember it.
Who do you play, Kendrick Nunn or Jock Landale?
I think that is a horrendous question, but I'd probably say Kendrick Nunn.
This is end of season questions we get here. I think I would go.
Do you know what? It does feel a little anticlimactic, I've got to say. I know it's not Sorare's fault in any shape or form, but I'm like, last of the season, last regular season lock, it's going to be great. And I'm like sitting here, I'm like, Kendrick Nunn. Oh no, not again, Kendrick Nunn.
I saw a question here. Our man Sorare NBA squad saying, "Where's Dalen Terry?" That he isn't projecting right now. I don't know. Boots on the ground. Ghost. How are we feeling about Dalen Terry?
I think he can sneakily rack up some stats there. I feel like he has an impact when he's in the game. He just literally Billy Donovan. I think there was some stat that he played like less than any like lottery rookie in the history of the NBA or something who like wasn't injured. So he literally just doesn't ever play. But I think that he will get unleashed a little bit over the next 2 games. And he's very active out there. So I think that he's a good play.
Sneeps is asking about Dougie McBuckets. He's got a cap of 21 and projection of 15. Let me see. I saw another question here. Carol was saying Gabe Vincent, Jordan Wara, or Herbie Jones. Dude, Herbie Jones dropped 35 real-life points over the weekend or over the week. I don't think I would go back to that well. But Jordan Wara should probably take a million shots for Indiana, right?
Yeah, and I still think that Gabe Vincent's one of those guys that you probably don't want to play too many minutes. I still think that they're going to want him for the playoffs. So he doesn't strike me as the guy who's going to be getting 35 minutes a game in a meaningless game.
Yeah, he's like starting as their point guard recently as well with the whole Kyle Lowry stuff. So I can't see him getting 4 minutes. But I don't know. Miami have just been a very strange sort of operation the last 10 games. So who knows?
Yeah, Mike's saying too, all those plays you slagged off throughout the season suddenly become prime plays. Yeah, you're welcome, because we've been giving away like 2 or 3 or 2 cards of that caliber play for the last like 3 months.
And then I get a Kyrie Irving reward today. I mean, what am I going to do with that?
I know. KB97 with a good one too, because there's no Jalen Smith, no Miles Turner. So we asked Isaiah Jackson, or do we take Top Shot Common Man's advice, who said Jaden Hardy's going to play 30 minutes, which I do think is a possibility that Jaden Hardy just gets a bunch up there. I think I would lean Isaiah Jackson. Are we all on Isaiah Jackson? Is anybody going Hardy?
Do you trust Jason Kidd to do the logical thing with Jalen Hardy? Because I don't. Jaden Hardy, and I could see him just not playing at all, or who knows. I don't want to be at the whims of what Jason Kidd's thinking, so I think I would lean Jackson there.
Yeah,
Jackson.
All right, would you go Adel, I'll take this one. Jalen Williams or Al Horford. I'm taking Jalen Williams, especially assuming OKC wants to try tomorrow. So I'm taking him. We got CJ McCollum or DeJounte. I can never tell if it's CJ. Okay, CJ McCollum or DeJounte Murray. I'm only answering one of them. Both of those guys should be trying, right? So I think I might take CJ. I really like the environment in that Knicks game. Or is anybody taking DeJounte Murray there?
No,
I'm going
I think
CJ as
CJ
well.
McCollum's CJ McCollum. The Pels guys this week will be really good, especially if the Knicks are playing their sort of second and third rotations. That'll be a solid play.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to remind the people here, like the stream, subscribe, put hashtag chaos into the chat. We'll take, I think we're going to wrap here in a couple of minutes because honestly, with so much news still to come, I have to adjust my lineups here a little bit, and my Wi-Fi is weird. It's just a little bit harder. So let's like the stream, subscribe at hashtag chaos. I'm going to Sorare NBA squad said, if you guys talked about Fox, yeah, we did. We talked about Fox and Sabonis both being questionable. It's just really hard to know how Sacramento is going to approach this because they don't have anything to play for. Golden State does. There you go.
Markel Fultz, Franz Wagner will start. I thought they were both ruled out. They've just said that they're starting.
No, they were questionable.
Were
the
they
whole team was
questionable?
pretty much questionable, yeah.
Oh, so they might be back then. So that might put the downer on the Bowl on the double game if Wendell Carter Jr. and all of them are coming back.
They're without Mo Wagner. They're without Wendell Carter Jr. And it looks like because Franz and Fultz were both ruled in, does that mean Paolo's ruled out because he was questionable?
The starting, so they got Goga Bitadze starting. So Paolo is definitely out, and Suggs is starting.
Wow.
Yeah, Bol should get minutes in that one. But Fultz, I have a Fultz, so I can actually play him and a Wagner. So I have a lineup, maybe. Shock news. That's the stretch of this game week, that I can announce a lineup. That's
yeah. Well, now, I mean, dude, Franz Wagner ends up becoming like an elite play now. So, man, crazy. All right, let's get some plugs out there. George, Swingman Pod, hit us. What you got going on?
Yeah, so me and a couple of guys over here in the UK, we have been doing a podcast now on the NBA and basketball for coming up in our 4th year now. We've been doing it. So, if you want to follow us on that, it's at Swingman Pod. We're pretty much everywhere as well, at Swingman Pod. And then myself, since Sorare NBA launched, I've been doing sort of 2 to 3 videos on Sorare NBA each week on our YouTube channel at Swingman Pod, where I dive through sort of the lineups in the game week that's coming up. So, yeah, come and check us out over there. That would be fab.
Hell yeah. And Ghost, hits with some Lucky Trader. Are we getting a playoff primer from you?
Yeah, maybe at some point. Today was the finale of the main primer there, so that was a bittersweet. But so Sorare content's going on the shelf a little bit until next season probably. We do have another guy, our man Hunter, who does the Sorare MLB ones right now. So check that out if you want some of those. And then I'm on Twitter Spaces every morning with the Lucky Lead with my co-host Tyler, and we break down the whole NFT market. So if you're into that, come check that out as well.
Nice.
Oh my God. I wanted to ask as well, how is the sauna, the infrared? I've got to know about it. The 1.2 ETH was the fascinating thing, but the infrared, the infrared, man, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, yesterday was one of the weirdest days of my life, honestly. It was my first time ever having something go like semi-viral like that. So I think it's still going, but it's got like 350,000 impressions and like 3,500 likes, and it's just wild. And I was saying this on the Lucky Lead this morning, but like as someone who makes NFT content, I'm always hoping that all of these like big founders or collectors will like interact with my stuff, and they never really do. Like I'm a small fish, and then this is the tweet that they all interact with. Like, it's like a random one-off sauna post. So Twitter is just a weird place.
You need to like latch onto this now. I expect to see Sorare NBA reward opening in my infrared sauna.
Yeah.
I think it should be the next thing.
I had probably 5 or 6 different people that DM'd me saying that they bought a sauna yesterday because of my post, which is just wild.
Dude,
it's like
so Overzed sent me Overzed, like I don't even know if he tweeted out, but he like DM'd me one like a month ago maybe when he got his, and I was just so jealous. And then when you tweeted it out yesterday, I like lost my mind too, because I'm a big sauna steam room guy. So I'm like, it's gonna get me to move out of New York for sure, because I can't do that.
You got to get a house there and get some space, but it's a game changer.
Yeah. And then for Team Hold, we got some fun stuff coming up. Honestly, if people could do me a favor, I tweeted out a video today at Mike Zakarian. We're doing this new. I put it on YouTube Shorts too and TikTok or whatever. But we're doing a new playoff series, doing a good thing, bad thing for each team that makes it to the playoffs. And today's first one was the Denver Nuggets. We did good thing, bad thing. So go check that out. We also will be back on Monday to fire up more of the NBA bit. We got a really exciting giveaway coming, talking about Summer League, but we'll also give away some digital stuff as well. I feel like we can spoil it for you guys. Yeah, we're giving away two nights at Park MGM for Summer League. So if you are planning on coming, it's a little bit cheaper. And if you weren't planning on coming because it was too expensive, well, now it's a little bit cheaper. So stay tuned for that. We get some exciting stuff coming. We are going to spin this giveaway here real quick in the chat. I saw a couple, Javon Carter and Paul Reed. Dude, let's go. B-ball Paul. Just fired up B-ball Paul. Let's do it. Let's see what else. Anything else here that I missed? How is Terrence Ross projecting? Not as great as we thought. But Terrence Ross should chuck. So Terrence Ross should chuck.
I'm surprised for Phoenix that they still have like Koji playing. There's a couple other guys that they're playing that I feel like are actually like rotational pieces there. I would have thought they would have just gotten like Ish Wainwright in there and just let him go for 40 minutes.
Yeah. Reese was asking about, Kawhi's a good shout for an MVP. I do think they're going to try to win. Russ, Cam Johnson, Reeves, pick one. Russ or Reeves, I would think. I think Russ or Reeves. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing it. We're spinning this thing. We're spinning this thing right now. Here we go. If you win, shoot me a DM at Mike Zakarian. I'll try to get this over to you tonight, but most likely tomorrow. And like real quick, I'll wait till we announce this. Let's see, who is it going to be? Oh, Bernard. Let's go. Was it Bernhard, baby? Bernhard. Hey, real quick to both George and to Ghost, who have been Ghost, you've been doing this all season long with us, and for our man George, who's jumped on a bunch lately. Huge shout out to you guys for being down for the cause, doing this like twice a week for the last whatever. We really appreciate it. So I'm trying to fix am I super choppy right now?
No, your audio is good.
A little bit.
Oh, hell
your
yeah,
audio is crisp. You're just we're hearing beautiful words. They're just not in sync with it. That's all.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing all this. We'll have more content for the playoffs. We'll continue to do a lot of exciting stuff. But this will be it for the regular season of it. So, and not only thanks to you guys, but also TST, who's joined a bunch, Gnome, who's come on a bunch. Gnome and I are going to be doing something for the playoffs shortly too. And then for everybody that tuned in every single time that we did this, it was dope. It was dope that we had all of you guys coming for this. So, shouts to you guys. Join the Discord, follow everybody. I'm realizing now I didn't put any of the links in the show notes today. Because listen, I was on the road and now I'm trying to find the video, but everything's so slow. Okay, hold on. Normally I have this timed up. This is what the behind the scenes that people don't understand. Normally all this is timed up. It's smooth. It's seamless. And today I
last game week of the season, man.
Organic.
Yeah,
it's organic.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave you the same performance that the NBA's given us tonight. That's basically what I did. All right, everybody, we are out. We're calling it. See ya.